What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and I'm coming at you now with a Synchron deck profile. This of course is the Synchron deck that I used in my most recent Dev Pro Duels. It has been updated for this new format. Synchron's is a deck that I've always cherished. It is probably the archetype that I most enjoy dueling with, and even though the deck itself is not very consistent, it is hella fun to play. Alright, so I'm going to quickly run through all the cards in the deck. Alright. Okay, so first off, there's a lot of different kind of ways that you can play Synchrons. The way I constructed this particular deck is more or less Quasar or bust. So you're trying to get to Quasar as fast as you can, and to do that we've added in a lot of different kind of draw cards and whatnot to kind of get us to our combo pieces as fast as we possibly can. Alright, so we're playing 2 copies of the Junk Synchron. This is kind of one of the cards that is more or less the heart and soul of the deck. With him is his brother. This is Quickdraw Snychron. These are our 2 main Synchron monsters that we go into most of the time. Following it up, we're also playing 2 of the Unknown Synchrons, and then 2 of the Synchron Explorers. This kind of rounds up the Synchron aspect of the deck. To go along with the Synchrons in a somewhat support type like fashion, we're playing 2 copies of the Quillbolt Hedgehog, and 2 copies of Level Eater, and then finally 2 copies of Dopplewarrior. These cards all kind of go in conjunction with Synchrons, and have done so really pretty much since the inception of the archetype. So for hand traps, we were playing 2 copies of Maxx, and then 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Finally, for this format, we are running a Lightsworn engine as well. So we're playing 2 Raidens, 1 Lyla, and then 1 Ryko to kind of round up the monsters in our deck. As you can see, for the most part, we're playing 2 of just about every monster at our disposal, with the exception of Lyla and Ryko, which are our only one-ofs monster-wise in the deck. Everything else we're playing 2 of. This gives us a little bit more consistency in our draws so that we're not drawing too many pieces of a combo that we can't really use. Alright, so that pretty much rounds up the monsters in the deck. So we're not playing any traps whatsoever, so the rest of it is all spells. So to go along with our Lightsworn engine, we are playing 3 copies of Solar Recharge, as well as a charge of the Light Brigade. From there we have 2 copies of Reinforcement of the Army, 3 copies of Tuning. So as you can see, we have a lot of searchability in the deck. So we have really 6 kind of Rhoda type cards as it is to kind of get us to wherever we need to be. From there we're playing 3 copies of Soul Charge. Now technically you don't always want to be drawing into all these soul charges, but the fact that we have a lot of milling going on within our deck, either through tuning or through Charge of the Light Brigade or Solar Recharge or the Lightsworn monsters in general, we might actually mill one of our soul charges, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because we don't quite need 3 as it is. But since we do have 3 in the deck, we're almost guaranteed to draw into it more often. For that same aspect, we are playing 3 copies of Supply Squad. This adds a little bit more draw power to the deck, which is something that helps us get to our combo. So if we have to kind of set up for a turn, maybe set a Ryko or summon Raiden, just get some of our milling going on. So Supply Squad really helps out because then we can leave that monster out there and get a plus off of it after it's destroyed. Plus, this works really great in conjunction with Level Eater and Scrap Dragon. Finally, we're running 2 copies of Pot of Dichotomy, and then 1 Dark Hole. The Dichotomy works out really good because we are playing the Soul Charges, so hopefully we will be able to play Dichotomy the same turn that we use Soul Charge in. And that rounds up everything in the main deck. Alright, so for extra deck, we are playing our 2 copies of Formula Synchron. This is really cool because normally you would want to hold off on your Formula Synchron play until you're going for Quasar. What this does though, having 2 of them in the deck now allows us to play Formula just a little bit earlier in case we don't quite have the setup for the Quasar summon. Alright, so next up we're playing for level 3, we have our Mistbird and then Armory Arm. For level 5 we have Junk Warrior, Armades, and then TG Hyper Librarian. For our level 6s, we have Goyo Guardian, fresh off the ban list, and of course, Junk Gardna. Junk Gardna is actually one of my favorite cards to use in Synchrons. You can make it with both Quick Draw and with Junk Synchron, which is kind of nice. He allows you to maybe get around really pesky monsters that could be chilling in defense mode, giving you a hard time, or ones that have a really high attack. You can switch them over into defense mode so that you can easily run them over. The only rank 7 I'm playing is Black Rose Dragon. For rank 8s, I have Road Warrior, Scrap Dragon, and Stardust Dragon. No Junk Destroyer or Junk Berserker in this build, mostly because of space. Really, I wanted to make sure I had room in there for both Goyo and the extra formula that have been included into the deck now. I decided to go with Stardust Dragon over Stardust Spark Dragon, mostly because I think he works a little bit better against the hands, at least in my opinion he does. And then finally we have our Shooting Star Dragon to go along with our Shooting Quasar Dragon. I've seen a lot of people drop Shooting Star Dragon out of their build. They just feel that once they get Quasar out, they're probably going to win it anyways, which is true most of the time. But if your opponent is able to get around the Quasar, having that Shooting Star as a nice backup really does go a long way. Plus, you know, the dichotomies help recycle everything as is, so it's pretty nice. Alright, so I'm going to do just a couple of quick combo plays the deck is able to do. I'm going to start things off with the most notable, really easy 3-card Quasar summon. Now I know I've showcased this combo off in previous videos, some of which were a long time ago, but I do have a lot of new subscribers, and for them, they might not be aware of this combo. One thing to note is that Quickdraw has a condition placed upon him, so even if you negate Quickdraw's effect, the condition still stays in play, and that's how you're able to perform this combo as is. So, to get things started, we're going to go ahead and special summon out our Quickdraw Synchron by ditching Level Eater from our hand to the graveyard. We're then going to activate Level Eater's effect, lowering Quickdraw to level 4 monster, and then we go ahead and perform our first Synchro summon of the day, bringing out Road Warrior. We're then going to lower Road Warrior's level by 1 so we can special summon Level Eater from the graveyard, and then we're going to normal summon out our Synchron Explorer, which brings out our Quickdraw Synchron. So 5, 7, and then 8 makes our next Synchro monster, which is Road Warrior. We're then going to activate Road Warrior's effect, bringing out Unknown Synchron from our deck to the field. We're going to go ahead and bring Level Eater back to the field by lowering Road Warrior down to a level 7 monster. And we're going to perform another Synchro summon, this time bringing out Formula Synchron. We would then technically draw a card for Formula. Doesn't matter what it is, it's not important to this combo in any way, shape, or form. Next thing we're going to do is use Level Eater's effect again, lowering Road Warrior down again, this time to a level 6 monster, and bringing Level Eater to the field. We now have Junk Warrior level 4, Road Warrior level 6, and Formula Synchron, which is a level 2 monster. We can perform another Synchro summon, this time bringing out Shooting Quasar Dragon. Quick, easy, 3-card Shooting Quasar Dragon combo. Alright, I also want to quickly reiterate how this combo worked. If you have a Scrap Dragon on the field along with a supply squad and you have Level Eater in your graveyard, you can lower Scrap Dragon's level by 1, making him a level 7 monster, bringing a Level Eater to the field. You then use Scrap Dragon's effect, destroying Level Eater and one of your opponent's cards. Since you destroyed Level Eater at this point, you would then draw for supply squad and you get to destroy their monster or back row or whatever. And then you can go ahead and bring Level Eater back out to the field by lowering Scrap Dragon down again. You can continually do this every turn. This effect becomes even more broken if you have more than one supply squad out on the field when you do it. Alright guys, and there you have it. This was my Synchron deck that I used in my most recent Dev Pro Duels. As I said earlier, it is not the most consistent deck by any stretch of the imagination, but it is hella fun to duel with, and I definitely encourage anyone out there who's interested in building this archetype to go ahead and do so. It's a lot of fun. So in the comment section below, remember to let me know what you think of my current build for the deck. Anything you like, don't like, or suggestions on ways to improve the deck are always most welcome. And I guess that's going to do it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.